Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing my classic challenge win with Golem beatdown with Night Witch, Evil Lumberjack, and Evil Zap. This is a pretty crazy deck and it's incredibly low skill, but it gets you victories, it gets you wins, and I won the classic challenge with only 2 losses with it. So let's watch the first one. So I'm just going to try to explain my thought process and what's going through my head, and to just show you guys like what you should be doing. Okay, go for Golem first play here because I'm a little bit tilted. Okay, my opponent doesn't do anything and gives me 4 free elixirs, so I'm just gonna go all in. And that's what I do. And I'm not sure why my opponent placed a Musketeer opposite lane, because I'm just gonna ignore that. So I'm technically up 8 elixir because of that. I just zapped the Inferno tower and that should be GG's. So usually these first few games are gonna be pretty easy in this classic challenge. And yeah, that should be GG's. Moving on to the second game, I face off against Mega Knight Bridge Spam. Okay, I probably cycle my Evil Lumberjack, that's what I do. It's good to cycle 2 Evos. So now I've identified that it is Bridge Spam, the Bridge Spam archetype. Place down the Night Witch, Mega Minion for that Mother Witch. And at this point, I know that we're equal on Elixir and that he has to respawn to my Night Witch. So I predict that by going for Golem opposite lane. So now I'm just straight up 4 Elixir because I'm just gonna ignore that side. But I don't choose to ignore it because he does go for a Battle Ram. So I go for a Bomber to avoid getting 3 crowned. Okay. So when you're playing with Golem Beatdown, this Golem Beatdown deck in particular, you want to make sure you go for tower trades when it's beneficial for you, or when you just have to, like in this situation. And Golem Night Witch is actually pretty good because the bats don't die here. And I go for Lumberjack when I know that he's at 0. So that just takes his tower there. And he has to respawn by going with Skeleton Dragons too. So yeah, pretty good start so far. King Tower down to 1872. Okay, so heading into double elixir, I probably go for a Golem in the back. So in these types of matchups, if you go for a Golem in the back, expect that they're going to pressure opposite lane. But as long as you can defend that and not get 3 crowned, you pretty much just win the game. So he goes for that Mega Knight, Evil Mega Knight, which is kind of a mistake because he kind of needs that Evil Mega Knight to defend against my Golem push. And notice how I place the Night Witch and the Bomber on the right side so it supports my Golem. An Evil Lumberjack is going to be pretty difficult to stop. Take out the Skeleton Dragons, and that should be good game. Yeah. Okay, so my next game is against this famous Muhammad Light deck with Magic Archer and Miner and Wall Breakers. So not the best starting hand because I kind of wish I had Bomber for that. Because Bomber can actually full counter split Wall Breakers. So at this point, I already know what deck I'm running against. Playing against. With the Miner and the Wall Breakers and the Magic Archer. I go for Golem opposite lane here because he used that Magic Archer. And I know he's going to pressure opposite lane. And as long as I defend that with just a Bomber, he's just gonna be 2 down Elixir, and I'm just going to just pretty much roll him here with this push. So that's basically what I'm thinking here. He goes for a bomb tower for my Golem. I'm kind of thinking here whether I should save this arrows and zap for the magic archer, but I decide just to go for Ebarbs opposite lane. Really bad wall breakers for my opponent. So if you're facing against this deck with Golem beatdown, if you go for a Golem and they pressure opposite lane and you defend cheaply, you're in a pretty good position. You're in a really good position actually. So here I can't really defend against these evil wall breakers, so I just kind of just let that go. And I'd probably just go for a Night Witch in the back here. Yeah, I do. I immediately zap those evil bats. And then double Elixir, this deck is just very, very hard to defend against. With the Golem, Night Witch, Evil Lumberjack, and Ebarbs, it's just incredibly difficult to defend against, and my opponent just gives up. So my next game is against this really off-meta Royal Recruits deck. And I was kind of like caught off guard by it in the beginning. Because it was so off-meta and I didn't really know what I was exactly going up against. Yeah, I kind of overspent a little bit there, but I didn't really know what I was going up against with the Ram Rider too. Yeah, I was kind of a little bit scared here because I didn't really know what I was going up against. But after those wall breakers, I think I go for a Golem in the back, and I do. Because that tower was dead anyway. I go for a Bomber to not get 3 crowns. I go for a Night Witch in back. Okay. Probably arrows that, yeah I do. Unfortunate timing with the arrows and the firecracker, but it is what it is. But there should be a successful tower trade situation here. I kind of know with this type of deck I'm going against that it's gonna be pretty easy for me to overwhelm these types of opponents, because my Ebarbs are pretty good against his Ram Rider. And as long as I can take out the scientist, because the scientist can get a bunch of value with his ability, I'll be chilling. So go for Golem Night Witch in the back here. And as soon as I see that scientist, I immediately place down my Lumberjack to kill it. He does get his ability down, but it's not enough to just evaporate my troops. So now I know that he's pretty much screwed here, and I arrows the firecracker because I know he has it. The Ram Rider is just pure desperation at this point. And that's game. Oh, but next game is against this like really, really difficult matchup. This is like a 100-0 matchup if I ever see one. But Golem Pump with E-Dragon and Inferno Dragon. This is a incredibly difficult matchup to go up against. And he goes for a Golem first play. So I go for a Lumberjack to force out some Elixir. And he goes for a Tornado. I'm not that scared yet because I have Ebarbs, which cleans up the Golem pretty nicely. So I go for that. And I go for a Mega Minion for the Inferno Dragon. And he's gonna have to defend against this. And he uses an Electro Dragon. So at this point, I know that I've already won the game because he's playing Golem Beatdown with E-Dragon and Inferno Dragon, and he just used both of his dragons. So they're not in cycle. So I go for a Golem in the back here, left side. And he doesn't have Electro Dragon in cycle, and he doesn't have Inferno Dragon in cycle. So he has no real way of like destroying my Golem push here. And I don't know why he did this. I don't know why he went for a Elixir Collector in the back. That was probably the worst play he could make here. To be honest, if your opponent knows what like they're doing against this matchup, like you have absolutely no chance to win. But my opponent like made a series of terrible plays that I like capitalized on and won because of. Like at this point, even if he like goes for Electro Dragon, Evil Electro Dragon, I'm just gonna take his tower and win before then. And I give him the well played in the end. My next game is against Expo with Ronin instead of Hero Knight. Ronin is actually quite strong against Golem Beatdown. Okay, at this point, I know I'm facing off against Expo because of those archers in the back, and then unfortunately, I don't have my Golem in cycle for the Expo. So I'm forced to go with Ebarbs at the bridge. He blocks it and goes for a Fireball, and I go for a Lumberjack, and he goes with a Log. So I know that he's basically spent all of his Elixir, and at this point, I'm pretty comfortable with going with a Golem in the back, because I know that I'm up a little bit of Elixir as well. So this is a perfect Golem in the back opportunity because I'm up Elixir first of all, I have my arrows in cycle for his archers, and I have Night Witch to support my Golem. Yeah, after the Tesla nerf, the Tesla isn't very good to pre-plant, so that was a mistake for my opponent. And I predict his skeletons with my bomber, I arrows everything, and it's pretty much GG's. And that should pretty much take his tower. Yeah, Golem Chef Tower is a really good matchup against Expo. Like the only way you could really lose this matchup is if you get like first-handed, or if you make like a series of bad decisions. So at this point, with double Elixir coming up, I Golem in the middle. And the reason you want a Golem in the middle like this is if they go for Expo, it'll target the Golem and not your tower. So you never want to go Golem in the back when they have Expo in cycle, unless you know you can like take their tower. But I don't want to risk it, so I Golem in the middle. But at this point, he's already given up. And I 3-crown him. Okay, my next game is against Mortar Bait, which is I absolutely despise this deck. I cycle my Evil Zap and he goes for Mortar. So I pretty much know what I'm going up against. He's playing Mortar Bait. That's what's going on in my head. He goes for Rascal Boy. I go for a Bomber for that. And I space out my Lumberjack and my Bomber, so even if he fireballs, he's gonna miss one. And he's not able to fireball both of them. So the reason why this is a pretty good matchup for a Golem Beatdown is because Golem Night Witch is really difficult to stop. So I'm a little bit slow here with the Mega Minion. That was a mistake on my end. But I'm kind of predicting that he's gonna defend my Mega Minion of something, so I go for a Golem in the back because I know I'm up Elixir. Yeah, that's what I do. So at this point, I'm up Elixir, I have Golem in cycle, I have Night Witch in rotation, and I have arrows for the Rascal Boy. So this is perfect starting hand to go with a Golem in the back. And perfect situation to go with a Golem in the back. So right now I'm hovering my arrows just for those Rascals. And I Mega Minion that, probably Evil Zap that as well. Yeah, I do. That should pretty much be towered down because he has no Elixir here. And I have so much on the board now. And probably go with a Lumberjack when he's at 0 Elixir and he's pretty much towered down. Yeah. So at this point, he doesn't really have enough time to take my tower, so as long as I defend, I should pretty much take this. So against this matchup in specifically, you want to make sure you get into a good cycle with Golem, Night Witch, and Arrows, so you can just get a really nice push going. And Arrows are Rascals. But this is a pretty good matchup for me. I lost my next game, unfortunately, but I'll just show my next win here, which is against Lava. Okay, so as soon as I saw the Spear Empress, I've already know that I pretty much won the game because he pretty much wasted 6 Elixir in single Elixir, which is pretty bad. You never want to cycle like a 6 Elixir card like Spear Empress in the back because I'm just gonna Golem in the back, tank for the Spear Empress, my tower's just gonna take it out and now he's just down like 6 Elixir. So you pretty much lost the game off of that. I'm just gonna Elite Barbarians when he's at 0 Elixir because I have such an Elixir advantage after that mess up of... And yeah, this deck is extremely good at 3-crowning your opponent. So I won't be going over my loss there because it's like such an impossible matchup with like Ronin, P.E.K.K.A. and Execution. It's pretty much a 100-0 matchup against me. So I don't really think it's very educational to show that. But my next win is up against this this 3 Musketeers homemade deck. I do consider this a Golem first play deck in single Elixir. So he goes for a hero and I go for a bomber to defend that. Just so I don't get 3-crowned, of course. And he goes for a 3 Musketeers, and the best way to deal with that is probably with Elite Barbarians and Lumberjack to take that out. And thank God this Fire Spirit didn't activate his King Tower, because I would have been pretty cooked if it did. Okay, that Mega Minion and the Royal Giant is a +3 trade. So I'm pretty comfortable with going with a Golem in the back here. Maybe it was a bit of a mistake though, because he could have rushed me opposite lane and pretty much taken my King Tower. With the mini P.E.K.K.A. and with the hero mini P.E.K.K.A. I go with arrows and Evil Zap there to take out those 3 Muskies with the Golem pop. And I go with a Bomber to deal with those Barbarians. So this deck is actually pretty easy to play. Just go with a Golem when you're presented with a good opportunity, and you place down your supporting troops. You want to place down the right supporting troops as well. My opponent having Whale Giant is actually pretty good for me because I can just place down my Elite Barbarians to deal with it. And I pretty much get a really good counter push off of it because I have my Elite Barbarians still on the map. So at this point, I know that I'm pretty much overwhelming my opponent. So it should be a pretty easy victory. And my last game is up against Golem Night Witch Lightning. And this guy is absolutely insane because I'm pretty sure he goes with a Golem first play if I remember correctly. Yeah, he does. I go for Bomber for that. I'm a bit taken back, honestly. But if you want to surprise your opponent, go for Golem first play, I guess. Ebarbs do a really good job at shutting down golems. Okay, at this point, he needs to defend my Night Witch with something. And since I've been keeping track of Elixir, I know that we're about equal on Elixir. So he goes for Kiro Goblins for that. And I place down the Lumberjack in anticipation of his ability, which he does pop. Okay, so at this point, I know I'm up Elixir because he used his Tombstone, and his Tombstone is off the map as well, so that's why I go for Golem in the back. Because Tombstone is really good at defending and pulling the Golem to the center of the map. But now it's out of cycle for him, and he's also down Elixir as well. And my Elite Barbarians do a better job at dealing with his Golem then yeah. So his Golem is pretty much gonna die before he kills my Golem. And I placed down the Mega Minion for his baby dragon. So now it's pretty much a good game because he can't really do anything to stop my push here. And I go with a Lumberjack when he's at 0 Elixir. If you want to play with a like a no-skill Golem deck, I highly recommend this for classic challenges. Peace.